Our visit to Patagonia was spectacular.
Oh! And immediately, Ruben Fernandez crashes out spectacularly. There was a rider down. I wasn't sure if it was Jonas. Victorious for the first time in MXGP. Geiser trying to make a move early on. Geiser leads on the opening lap. Oh, the two riders bang bars on the way out. Fernandez terminates Jonas. They're going to be banging bars again before the end of the race as he goes over the bars. Oh, they both go down. Oh, brave move. He went round the outside. And Tom Vial will win the Patagonia Argentina Grand Prix. That is a big win.
The fourth round of the 2022 season brings us to Aguada, which has been hosting the FIM Motocross World Championship since 1985 at the Aguada Action Club. The city itself is less than an hour's drive south of Porto, in a region renowned for its hospitality. Tim Geiser has started the season with a hat-trick of GP victories in the Premier class and has won here before. But the four-time champion hasn't had things all his way, and the likes of Maxime Renault and Jorge Prado, who has also enjoyed the top step of the podium here, are going to get better as they get used to new machinery. While there have already been some surprise visitors to the MX2 podium, Jago Hertz has quietly established a 26-point lead at the top of the standings. But 2020 champion Tom Vial bounced back to form in Patagonia to leap to the front of the chasing pack and will be confident of closing the gap to Hertz on terrain that should suit the Frenchman down to the ground. 3 years has been far too long to wait to come back to this part of the Iberian Peninsula. Finally, this is the MXGP of Portugal.
Team HRC rider Mitch Evans takes us for a lap around Aguada. You can see it's a wide first turn over the foxhole shot line and uphill for the first time. We arrive at turn 2, a right sweeping turn. Stepping down over the Monster Energy jump into turn 3, this left-hander slightly more banked to the outside than previous years, and then up into turn 4 with the FC Moto jump. The ground falling away on the exit here as we head back downhill to the middle part of the racetrack, through another sweeping left, over this jump, and then stepping up into the turn here before coming to a complete halt, getting on the gas, and then we hit the Liqui Moly triple jump. The circuit here, loose, it's dry, it's hard, it's slick. It's going to be a real challenge for the riders, doubling back in the opposite direction and then heading uphill. Years ago, this used to be a step down, but obviously, as you can see over the years, they've changed the circuit here. The Monster Energy tabletop takes us to the furthest point on the racetrack, this 180 right, and into the wave section. Double your way through these. And then obviously we have a single at the end, and we have a split section through the right-hander. Double down here into this bottom left. We've got grandstands built around the racetrack here, and one of them to the left, so the fans will have a perfect view of the racetrack on this part of the circuit. Down through here, and then up onto the pyramid, down past pit lane, 2 corners from the finish line. So we have this left-hander, a small single to the inside, or you can go the outside. This is the finish line jump. This takes us to the Monster Energy finish line jump here. And as we come into land, we have this step down here, as you can see, a tabletop followed by another step up into this sweeping right. The track continuing on from the finish line. Through this right, dropping down again, split. Jump to the inside, nothing to the outside. The final straight over the bitchy tabletop. That's the start straight to the right. This is the final turn, and that's a lap of Aguada.
We're here at the Red Bull KTM factory racing team. Let's get some insights about bike setup from a mechanic himself. What changes do you look at making to the bike at the start of a race weekend?
So on any different weekend, say this weekend we're in Portugal, last weekend we're in Argentina, It all depends on the surface of the track, whether we are hard pack, if we is a sand track, if it's a mix, if it's a little bit sandy, a little bit hard pack. So the main things that you're adjusting are your tyre choice, suspension, maybe some gearing. In general, this is pretty much it.
How do you set up the bike for different surfaces?
Normally, say, sand setup is a little bit firmer in the fork, is a little bit higher in the front. Fork's a lot lower in the triple clamps, and on a hard pack track, the fork's a lot higher through the triple clamps. You are normally a little bit more neutral with the balance of the bike, maybe a slightly softer fork. On the sand, normally is a stiffer setup to keep some weight on the rear of the bike.
And how is tyre choice affected by the track?
Tyres are the big one. Whether you're on sand, you use a scoop tyre, so we use Pirelli. So the scoop, or on the hard pack, the MX32. The tricky part is when you get a track that is a little bit sandy, a little bit hard pack, maybe half of the track is quite firm and the other half is quite soft. So this is always a little bit difficult to judge sometimes. I guess one of the biggest, especially the 250 class with not so much power, is the start. It's so important. So sometimes you will make a decision to make it better for the start. Generally, start straights in MXGP, they're ripped very deep. They're watered quite heavy, so the bike has a lot of drag. And with a scoop, you get a lot of traction, so this can be a big advantage in the start, but maybe the rest of the track hasn't been ripped quite as deep and it's quite hard. Then it's not such an advantage, but if you can get the whole shot and you can get out front, you stay away from the chaos behind you.
Gate drops here then. And it is here, it's over on the right side, but Guadagnini alongside him, and again, Hormo or Harup actually. Harup to the outside, number 11, and Guadagnini goes down, and Gifting in there with him as well. Guadagnini jumping long and just landing heavily and just bogging down the Italian out. Hormo falls from 4th position, so Kevin Hormo does all the hard work, picks himself up. This is your first 4 riders, Harup, Adamo, Vial and Jago Kietz. Tom Vial, Red Bull KTM. If he thought about cutting to the inside, instead he goes the long way round, he'll make the pass, and he does. A rider that is looking like he's slowly building into this race. Jago Kietz, a championship leader, he's in 4th place coming into view now. Can't afford, oh, and he goes over the bars! I was going to say, he can't afford to let Vial get too far off the hook, but that looked like an ugly crash for Jago Kietz. And struggling to pick himself up and rejoin the race, look, and back markers running into him and all sorts. Disaster then for the championship leader. I think at this moment he's got to be patient. Tom Vial, the Red Bull KTM, now within touching distance of the number 11. Goes to the outside, cuts back, and he takes the line away from Harup on the way down into the left-hand turn. We have a new leader on lap 4, and it's Tom Vial. And a rider who needs a good result, Conrad Muse, slides down the inside, an easy pass for the Brit on the Italian, moves himself up into 3rd place. Guy de Wolf has been very patient. Back end comes around on him there, though. He's bided his time, and it was an easy picking in the end for Kai de Wolf. From 4th to 3rd, the number 93 looks to go around the outside. Got to be careful here, pulls out of the challenge, takes the shortest route through, gets alongside the KTM rider, almost bar to bar as they go through. He's wiping goggles as well, he's run out of tear-offs. But it doesn't stop him from making the move at the top of the hill. Kietz now up in the 9th place. Suddenly, Mikkel Harup all over the back of Tom Vial. Final lap. Vial and Harup just over a second apart. They're in traffic. Striking distance for the number 11. He got close, Mikkel Harup, but wasn't able to make the move on the final lap. And Vial will win race 1 here, his 2nd race win of the season. Hogmo, F&H Kawasaki leading the way. Good start for Gifting in second position. Geertz third, Harup fourth. Vial again finds his way past Geertz just like he did in race one, exactly the same corner as he moves into fourth and third as he barges past Mikkel Harup. Talk about urgency from Tom Vial. Hanging on to that second position, closes the door down this time, doesn't leave it open, but the back end comes around. That may all be that Vial needs, and he does. He goes through, capitalises on that mistake, takes over second place from the Swede. Jago Geertz finds his way past Isaac Gifting, moves into third place and goes back after Vial, who just sits ahead of him in second. And he was quick here in race one. He's going to do the same as he did to Adamo in race one here to Hogmo. He gets to the inside, closes down the door, stops Hogmo's attack coming back at him. Vial leads on lap 8. Here is Hogmo under attack from Geertz, who doubles in. He gets perfect drive here. They're going to be side by side. They've got to be careful down there. Fortunately, Hogmo read it well, backed out and allowed Geertz to jump past him safely down the hill. Geertz now into second. Number 93, Jago Geertz looking to go around the outside of Vial. Vial will maybe know that he's there or not. He knows someone's there. He tries to cut across to close down the line. But Geertz is going to go around the outside. We've got a chance for the lead. And Geertz leads on lap 10. Around the outside, Guadagnini nips past De Wolf and into fifth place. Geertz, the Monster Energy Yamaha rider, will win race 2. It'll be good enough for third overall. Tom Vial wins the overall. Back-to-back wins for the KTM man. Harup goes third in Argentina, second overall here in Portugal. It's getting better for the Kawasaki rider.
Yeah, you know, I had a difficult Saturday. I was really far on the start. So I'm happy to win the GP because it was tough. You know, I didn't expect this yesterday night. I had two okay start and then I was leading both motos, second moto. I was a little bit a mix, but Jago was riding also good. So he passed me and then I tried to follow, but he was pretty fast. So no, I just saved the second place for the second moto and second GP win is always nice.
Third overall, Jago Geertz. Mikkel Harup, second overall here with a second and a fourth. Fantastic day for the Dane. Tom Vial gains 10 points on the Belgian here today. Harup moves up to third in the championship. What a day it's been for the Big Van World Kawasaki rider. MXGP qualifying race, 20 minutes plus 2 laps. The gate drops here, Matchley Basin. It's Renault who leads. He gets off to the dream start. He wins the MXGP qualifying race.
Start of the season was in Matoli qualifying race and I got the win, so it was quite special, you know, to get into a new class, new bike and get the win straight away. I would not say I was expecting it because you never know what to expect.
Mateli Basin was good. I was quite happy with both races. Yeah, it was a good start of the season, you know, starting with the overall win on a high note. Mantova was as well good. It was a bit different this year. It was like completely hard packed track. I managed to make it 2 really good races.
First podium in MXGP for me, second overall. That was just one of the goals of the season, you know, to try to get on the podium. We achieved it on the second GP, it was really nice. And I also had some good battles with team and with Jorge. was just really nice to be there and already to contend for race wins. Awesome feeling.
It was really nice to finally, went to Argentina since 2019. Basically, we were not traveling so far since 2019. All the atmosphere at the track with the fans, there were so many there. It was really, really nice. Also, I really like that track as well. Went 2-1 for the overall again. First race, again, I didn't have the best start. I came through the pack and then I was behind Maxim. He was riding a good pace, so we were like, battling all the moto. I was trying to find a way to pass him, but he had a good pace, riding really well, so I settled for second.
And the Monster Energy Yamaha will cross the line. He is victorious for the first time in MXGP.
My first race win in first moto with a really good battle with Tim. It was awesome. Having the pressure on the back from Tim during almost the whole moto. Could handle it, so it was really nice to show that I was here, and that I was strong mentally, physically and on the bike. I think it was nice for me mentally to just show who I am, what I'm able to do on the 450.
Maxim is a great rider. It was not a surprise that he immediately adopts so good to 450. He shows really good speed last year in MX2, and he's kind of like tall, a bit heavier guy, so I think 450 suits him better. And he shows that, he have a speed since the beginning, and he's fighting for the title.
I want to keep really being humble, because I know I'm racing on the biggest class of the world with the biggest riders. I don't want to say I'm gonna win a GP in Portugal or something. If I can do it, I will take it with both hands and I will go for it.
Not the best jump for Koldenhoff as he gets squeezed by Jorge Prado. Brian Bogers, good to see the standing construct Husqvarna rider who separated the shoulder in qualification on Saturday in Argentina 2 weeks ago. Not just riding here, third in the qualifying race yesterday, currently third and pushing to be the top Dutchman here as he goes after Koldenhoff for that second place. Brian Bogers got on the top of the hill there, cut to the inside. A slight mistake from Koldenhoff forced him wide, but Bogers didn't need a second invite, closed down the door here into that left-hand turn. Bogers now for second. But not for much longer, because bottom of the hill, him and the Jerry man, Van Horbik going through in 10th. All of a sudden, Geiser has found his way past PJ, and we have a leader change for 5th place then. So Geiser up to 5th, Jonas now in 6th. Tim Geiser closing in on Jeremy Seawer. This is for 4th place. And all of a sudden, up the inside, he's turned it up a notch, hasn't he? And he's going to cut back to the inside here if he can. And he does. And Seawer reads it. He has to yield. All of a sudden, within the space of a lap, Glenn Koldenhoff has been caught here, and he moves into 3rd place again. So dispatching of both the Yamahas within the space of a couple of laps. Geiser now up in the 3rd, Koldenhoff in 4th place. Maxime Renault losing the front end in that braking zone. Yeah, it just comes up short, hits that bump and goes down. The run down towards the finish line. Jorge Prado, Brian Bogus and Tim Geiser. Hard charge from Geiser. There's still maybe time in the final corner here, but Bogus goes defensive. Prado wins the race, Bogus second and Geiser third. Heads down, revs up, MXGP, race 2. Geiser, this time in second place. Valander all the way around the outside. Evans and Jacobi, top of the hill. Oh, Evans just bounces into Jacobi, forces the German over the berm, manages to make a pass. Absolutely from nowhere, and you know what? That came from a mistake at the top of the hill from Jorge Prado that left the door wide open for Geiser to go through. So all of a sudden, lap 7 from just nothing, he's just flicked the switch and gone. And Maxime Renault, just before pit lane, tips down at the bottom of the hill. He was in 11th place. Watch this here. Oh, back end comes around, same as Adamo in the first race. Back end came around on him. Koldenoff now is just knocking on that door, and maybe the fitness just starting to come into play. Good drive coming out of the turn there from Koldenoff. He's going to double up the inside. He makes the move on Jonas. All of a sudden we've got a change for third place, and Koldenoff will be on the podium as it stands right now. Jeremy Seawer has tipped over. Oh, around the outside. Deja vu as to yesterday. The other two riders then were on the opposite side of the track, Bogus and Jonas, but a great move from Bogus. He moves into 4th place, and he will be in control of that 3rd overall on the podium. Tim Geiser rounds out the final turn, wins race number 2, and Tim Geiser will be on the podium behind Jorge Prado, who goes 1-2 here today to win the Portuguese Grand Prix, his 36th Grand Prix victory for Jorge Prado. Geiser will be 2nd overall with a 3rd and a 1st. Brian Bogus will be on the podium with a 2nd and a 4th. Fantastic ride for him. Glenn Koldenoff sets his fastest lap on the final lap of the race at 51.9.
Yeah, I mean, I'm speechless, you know. It's been so difficult, the way to here. Yeah, but finally we are here, 3rd on the box. Yeah, amazing. I don't know what to say. I want to say thanks to my family, the team, everybody around me.
Well deserved. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
So the sun sets on a thrilling return to Portugal. Jorge Prado was delighted with taking a first GP win of the year ahead of MXGP Championship leader Tim Geiser, while Tom Vial closed the gap to MX2 red plate holder Jago Hertz with a second consecutive GP victory. There's no rest for the wicked though, and we'll be back next week for the MXGP of Trentino.